All right, a pleasant good morning to you coming from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to Night Moves here for Saturday, March the 7th. We're ready to go here for a big day of conference tournament action here on Saturday, and there's other sports as well. There's NBA, NHL we're going to preview here. We'll talk a little World Baseball Classic, and what a day at the World Baseball Classic. We saw some saw some of those other teams perform pretty well. Actually, seems like the talent gap is kind of closing a little bit. Well, yeah, when you got some players who, maybe they are U.S. citizens. No one's yelling about it like it was the Olympics, right? You got all these players from, well, maybe not even the United States, but other countries that are maybe playing for some other teams. Hey, if you've got the heritage in your bloodline, you can play for that team. That's how it works in the World Baseball. We got some guys are working on like their fourth team. They got more ethnicity than I do with some of the players, but we saw some new stars emerge yesterday, some young stars, and they're not all on the United States team. It's the old hats with the U.S. at the World Baseball Classic, like Aaron Judge there yesterday with the big home run. He scored 3 runs. United States beat Brazil 15-5. We talked about U.S. I said lay 9.5 runs. It wasn't easy, but they got there. Maybe it wasn't quite the score we were expecting because we saw Manny Ramirez's son go deep twice. So this guy looks like he could be now. Okay, we saw some other guys do some things as well here at the World Baseball Classic on Friday, and we do have a game here coming up in just a short while here, and we'll preview that game here, make a pick as well, getting underway at 5 Eastern time and 2 a.m. Pacific here in just a short while. More action over from Japan will be the home team here in action in this one. Coming up, this one's at, I said 5 Eastern and 2 Pacific time here in the morning with Japan. They are a favorite coming up here against Korea. So, yeah, it sounds like a good game on paper, but I don't know. Japan has a Yusi Kikuchi on the mound. They historically do dominate Korea, despite what we know about the KBO and its stars. Japan here is about a 5.5 run favorite. I think last I saw the total is 11 under 15. So, it's going to be another Japan. I think Japan will be able to take this one down. Like I said, they got a good, solid major league starting pitcher here in Yusi Kikuchi. Have to win this one by 6. And like I said, the total mostly around 11 under here. But I just think for Japan here, they did beat Korea in a tournament game last time they met at the World Baseball Classic, or I think it was it was another major tournament, but it was 13-4. So their lineup already showcased their form with that 13-0 rout of Chinese Taipei. So look, if they get to Korea's bullpen early here, they'll probably go on for the victory. I think it will go over tonight. I think Japan's offense is capable of putting up big numbers by itself here, while South Korea does have some bats in Do Young Kim and also Hyunmin An. as well. So I think the game can reach 11 runs here and go over. I'm going to take Japan. I think I like the side just a little bit better than the total here with Japan and Korea game here tonight. Some other games yesterday at the World Baseball Classic. Who were the big stars there, right? With some of the contests, I thought Venezuela over the Netherlands 6-2 as Wilson Contreras had 2 hits and 2 RBIs. The Dominican Republic eventually got going. It was a little bit hairy early, but they did beat Nicaragua 12-3 behind J-Rod, who had 3 hits and 3 RBIs. We know, of course, Shohei Ohtani at that grand slam in the morning game in the 13-0 win over Chinese Taipei, as mentioned. Cuba beat Panama 3-1. Yan Moncada hit a 2-run home run in that one, and Puerto Rico shut out Colombia. They scored 5 runs in the 5th inning and shut out Colombia. Other action at the World Baseball Classic yesterday. Also, Mexico beat Great Britain 8-2. So back more with more action today, including an early start. Colombia and Canada. U.S. will be in action against Great Britain at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And then the late night game from Japan is Chinese Taipei and Korea. Other games of note: Nicaragua will take on the Netherlands. Also, Panama will take on Puerto Rico. Israel is in action against Venezuela. I heard the Israeli team's got some great arms. Okay, enough of the jokes here, and thank you for joining me here on Night Moves. It was also a spectacular day in college basketball tournament action here yesterday, and we're going to cover mostly semifinal action today. There's a lot of games. You know, it's not a full slate on Saturday right now, with a lot of teams having been knocked out of their conference tournaments, but we got plenty of conference tournament action, and as well as the regular schedule. But you know, with the regular schedule, Tony's got you covered. If you want some of the biggest games in college basketball, Tony's video today will have major college teams in their regular season games. We'll cover the tournament action here on Night Moves, including semifinal action here when we get going with the previews. I just have 6 games to look at. We have a pretty big hockey card today, and of course the NBA. We're going to try to get about 20 games in here on Night Moves, but we'll be looking at, so if you guys can get ready, I'll let you know. And because how this show works is I'm going to go over the previews, and then the chat pros, you can chime in with your picks. So the games we'll be looking at here, it'll give you a few minutes to go because we'll do NBA first. But the 6 games that I've selected here anyway from semifinal action in the conference tournaments tomorrow will be Mercyhurst and Stonehill, also Presbyterian and Winthrop, also Drake and Illinois Chicago, also Queens and Austin P, also Nebraska Omaha and North Dakota State, and one championship game from the Ohio Valley, Morehead State and Tennessee State. So I'll give you a few minutes to look at your notes or your stats, or however you go about doing your handicapping when you're with me. And those are the games I'm going to look at, just 6 of them. You know, we're into a lot of quarterfinals tomorrow for some of these conference tournaments. So we're just going to go with semifinals and finals. Like I said, if you want some major college action from the big boys there, and some mid-majors too, but Tony's got the biggest games covered today with his video here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. All right, hey, Missouri Valley Drake beat Belmont 100-79. What a stunner. Belmont, they're the first #1 seed in the country to lose in its conference tournament. They just wasted a good season. They're out. They're done. They're not going to be, I don't think they're going to be invited here after losing a first-round game to Drake. Drake did start to play better. They were an 11-point underdog, though. Drake won the last 2 nights after losing their last 8 regular season games. So I don't think you're going to have that on your resume if you're the Belmont Bruins and get invited to the NCAA tournament despite its Missouri Valley championship. And, hey, what can I say? Things went over in the Missouri Valley. You know, I had a tough time finding any winners today at all. I'm coming on here a little bit steamed here right now. I finally got a winner late night with Alex Iala, and what a great match it was. But man, some tough losses today, man. They were piling up for me, so I better get on the ball here. We did have Alex Iala late over. Great match, but man, I was about to throw my papers at the screen. Bradley beat Valpo 90-84 in double overtime over in the Missouri Valley. Also, how about Miami of Ohio? Hey, show a little class, Miami of Ohio. You're 31-0. I know a lot of people are excited. I'm seeing a lot of social media posts. Congratulations. Great job. I thought they looked absolutely embarrassing out there. Another squeaker for Miami of Ohio, but, look, the Ohio University fans were not polite either. They were throwing things on the court mostly because of Miami of Ohio. It felt like to be, yes, they were steamed. They almost had one of the biggest upsets of the season, really, no matter how you look at it, even if it was a relatively closely rated game. A lot of people were expecting maybe this would be the time that the bubble bursts for Miami of Ohio. But the way they celebrated on Ohio's court, I don't think they've got many fans left. I'm not a fan of Miami of Ohio, and I hope they lose their first-round game, actually, in the MAC. I thought they were absolutely disgusting, the way they celebrated and taunted the Ohio fans. They should have been in the handshake line. One of the Ohio kids, I think, got run out, and they didn't even let him participate in the handshake line because he was so steamed, I think, at the Red Hawks. So, look, they won. Great job, 31-0, no doubt about it. 9 wins by 1 or 2 points or in overtime. You remember the stat. But, to yell profanities at the home crowd, I thought they looked terrible. I'm embarrassed for Miami of Ohio. 31-0, no doubt about it, but they're doomed. I mean, too many close games, too many close calls, and not enough class with Miami of Ohio. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way. There was some other blowback, it felt like, on social media there. Hey, I've been loving talking about this team, but they turned me off in that one. Akron beat Northern Illinois 94-85. So very quietly in Miami's shadow, a team like the Zips have won 16 of 17 games. I'm going to root for the Zips now. Okay, they're 26-5, top 10 in effective field goal percentage. So go Akron, let's go Zips. I hope they meet in the finals, and I hope the Zips win in the MAC. St. John's 16-1 in their last 17 games after they beat St. John's Seton Hall yesterday. Good finish for Seton Hall. They were able to. They didn't get the money. They actually lost by 7. Maybe they were the public darling in that game, but St. John's does clinch the number 1 seed in the Big East tourney with that victory. Southern Conference, Citadel over Chattanooga in an interesting one as Citadel pulled off the upset 88-85 as Citadel shot nearly 50% from 3-point range. Late night games of Portland over Washington State in the West Coast Conference Tournament, 74-68 in that one. That's it for Washington State. You're back to the Pac-12 after hanging out in the West Coast Conference for a couple of seasons. The Pilots will advance to play San Francisco on Saturday, and Seattle U beat San Diego in a late game there by just 2 points. San Diego got the cover, but it was Seattle U advancing in the West Coast Conference Tournament. One other big note, Caleb Wilson, who already had a broken left thumb, and he was trying to play, he's playing through it. It was healing there. He missed some time, came back. Now he broke his right thumb in practice this week. So, no thumbs Wilson, averaging 20 points a game and nearly 10 boards for the Tar Heels. And this one's a little more serious. I believe he's out for the season here now with getting late in the year. So bummer there for Carolina. They were playing. They're a good team. They're going to maybe win some games in the tournament the way they've been going. But that is a key blow. Also was VCU over Dayton there last night, as well as VCU have won 13 of their last 14 games right now. They're looking pretty strong here. With their advance. Also, San Diego State held off UNLV. My San Diego State Aztecs still got a chance for at least a share of the Mountain West. I keep trying to blow them off here, but BJ Davis had 30 points off the bench, just what the Aztecs needed. Draven Gibbs Lawhorn, another big game for UNLV with 32 points, one game on the regular board. West Virginia beat Central Florida in the Big 12, 77-62. Patriot League, Lehigh over Holy Cross there. Or let's see. I think that's it. I think that's it. Make sure I got all these games right. I was going to go over the winners, but man, I was having kind of some issues here finding some winners here yesterday on night moves and with my premiums. Man, let me go over to Tony'sPicks.com and celebrate the guys who did win here yesterday, and take a look at those handicapper leaderboards over at Tony's Picks. At least I can pump up my team over there and see what we have with the handicapper leaderboards over at Tony's Picks. These are where you can find our premium picks, supposedly our best bets every day over at Tony's Picks. I should have went with some more of my premiums there, but let's see what we got here from the handicappers yesterday, and I'll say hello to everyone here and momentarily as well. You're not going to be finding me on the handicapper leaderboards today. In fact, I've given away a lot of my profit here. I had a losing streak, but David Racy looking good there, 9-3-1 on the day for plus 5.5 units. Bo Dunn, a great job there, 64% on the day. Shane Mickle, good job there, 71.5% today. Tony T on a little bit of a roll right now for Tony, 3-1 today. Justin Stacks McKelvey there, 4-2. Great job from Justin, one of our partners on the show. Nick Locaretto's 4-2. Ron Crawford, 8-6. Everyone was hitting but me over at Tony'sPicks.com. Joey Tron, 2-1. Al Ninos, well, he picked one game, he won again. Man, Al, you're just doing a great job with one game a day. Man, no wonder he lives a good life out there. We've spent time with Al on the shows before. Mills Young won his only play. We do have also, while I'm mentioning Mills, UFC action here tomorrow night, here in just actually about 13 hours from this broadcast, with UFC 326 Holloway versus Oliveira 2, the main event there for the ceremonial BMF title. You heard Conor McGregor popping off on social media, kind of saying, what exactly about these two guys says BMF? Well, maybe they've won more than one fight in the last 8 years. So Conor better just go sit down in the social media corner here and watch the fight tomorrow night between Holloway and Oliveira. Also, one fight was canceled today between Gaston Bolaños and Jung Young Lee, as Lee failed to make weight, and I think he was already in as a replacement fighter. So I think they scrapped the bout altogether. I don't think they had another opponent for Bolaños there yesterday, since one was already a replacement opponent. So do still salvage the card here, and I believe there's still a 12 or 13 fights there tomorrow from Las Vegas, and I'll have some premium picks here tomorrow, okay? Tom Reghard in the green. Tony's VIP account there in the green. Solo Malone 2-1. Stephen Duncan showed a profit again as well over the last 7 days. It's Stephen Duncan up 10 units. Al Ninos up nearly 6 units. Kevin Thomas up 5 1/3 units. Mills Young up 4 3/4 units. Solo Malone up nearly 3.5 units. Brian Bittler up over 2 units. Bo Dunn up over 1 3/4 units. Shane Mickle in the green also last 30 days. I'm not up there anymore. That's how bad it went for me. Stephen Duncan's up 22.5 units over the last 30 days. Nick Logaretto's up over 8 1/3 units. Al Ninos up nearly 6 2/3 units. Mills Young up nearly 6 units over the last 30 days. And the leaders for the year include Stephen Duncan, Nick Lagaretos, and Al Ninos, some of the top cappers over at Tony'sPicks.com, where you'll find our premium picks. Click on the All Cappers tab. Find the handicapper of your choice. Click on their handicapper profile page. You'll find me here at the bottom. And this is an algorithm-driven list, so that's how it went. But try to hang on with me here for this weekend. Please grab a 3-day all sports pass. I'm going to come back strong tomorrow with after my worst day of the year, and try to bring up some winners over at Tony'sPicks.com. There's certainly enough games for me to choose from. If I don't whip on all these college basketball games, here again, we did have some winners here on Night Moves yesterday, at least. Let me say hello to the folks here, and they're ready to go. You guys are ready to go. It's going to be a good show. Like I said, about 20 games I think we'll do here, and we'll have some premium picks. Here we go. Richie Rich is here, and he hit all his play. Okay, hey, look, I know it's Richie did the handicapping. Hopefully I had some information that helped. Did I help anybody out there at all? Try to give me some confidence here after my poor day of picks. Man, I lost a couple of tennis picks, almost a reverse sweep in college basketball. Man, and I'm still sticking with the biggest, my best sports. But all right, Roman Anthony there with the man, the World Baseball Classic. Hey, it's fire, right? The U.S. fans were good. The Dominican fans are good. And I think, what you saw with Dominican, right? With the Dominican Republic, it does seem like I said, in this tournament, momentum is a lot going on. I think Dominican Republic, look, the U.S., nothing with, look, love Webb. Okay, I've loved Webb, a great veteran pitcher here. You wonder if he's, yes, Logan Webb should be still pretty much in the prime of his career. He just started Game 1 of the World Baseball Classic. But we did see him get taken deep in that first inning. We saw the U.S. give up some runs to a team like Brazil. Hats off to Brazil. We did mention, they've got some players there. Hey, like I said, if you've got it in your bloodlines, you can play for that team. Some of the players on Brazil have played for the Dominican team before. They moved from team to team. So, like I said, you don't have them like the Olympics, right? Everyone complained when the athletes went and played for the other country that they should renounce their citizenship. Are there anybody saying that in the World Baseball Classic? I'm not hearing that. Why aren't we holding them to the same standard? Look, you just can't. There's only so many roster spots. You want to go play for someone? Do it. All right. Andrew K. talking about that Knicks #1 defense. How about the Knicks last night? Man, they pasted Denver. You got to respect what they did in that one. We did have the winners on Night Moves here. Boston Celtics over Dallas. Jason Tatum, 15 points. Talked about how many minutes he might play. I think we called it exactly right? It wasn't going to be a minimal amount of minutes. It wasn't going to be a full slate of minutes necessarily, right? But like I said, you're not going to play a guy just for 10 minutes and say, let's hope he's okay. He's okay because he's playing there yesterday. So we also had the winner Portland and Houston game to go under. That was a winner here on Night Moves. I had winners here on the show, right? We had the Clippers getting the money there against the Spurs, and a good game there. Spurs were able to get it done. If Wemby's crying during a regular season game with tears of joy, how happy is he going to be if the Spurs win the championship? And we also had the Lakers yesterday in the Tankathon, winning, getting it done there, covering the points against the Indiana Pacers. Not all the Tankathon teams did win there. New Orleans played well again, getting that cover against Phoenix. And how about the upset there with Miami playing well? We talked about it there yesterday, right? I know I had the under in the show and we lost here, but I was on some other shows talking up Miami, and last night I think we were kind of hinting at that look, they're still in this. They are, in fact, if you watched all the games yesterday, that game was off the hook as far as fans were concerned. I thought in Charlotte, that was really my favorite game there yesterday, I think. And Andre had a great day. Cal Dog is here tonight there. And Andrew K saying, right, look, I don't want to say that pitching around players is the right strategy. the U.S. scored 15 runs, for example, but Brazil walked 17 guys. Now, I'm sure it's because they were having trouble and the umpire wasn't having a great night. But maybe pitch around all those stud hitters of the U.S. You still have to get a hit eventually if you can score some runs. Now, granted, it did work out for the U.S. in the end. Brazil. Hey, we're just about ready to go from the GABA here. If everybody watching some Australian football, I'm going to make a pick on this game. We're having the coin toss here right now, and I do have some bets on this game if you want to watch with me here on Fox Sports 2 right now. This is the opening weekend of the Aussie Football League season. I'm a big Australian rules football fan. Most of its games are in the middle of the night, but also dating back to the days of old ESPN when they didn't even have a lot of sports to show, and they showed those games. So we got a game coming up right now between the Western Bulldogs and the Brisbane Lions here right now. So look, this should be a pretty good game here between these two teams. And I've got Brisbane here, minus 16.5 and a total over 177.5. You want to, if you can do a little SGP or kind of rate the picks, I don't know, kind of equally. I wasn't totally sold on a big bet here, but I'm going with the Brisbane Lions here against in action here right now, just about to go on Fox Sports 2 in Australian rules football. Brisbane Lions and Western Bulldogs here. Brisbane, a big favorite here. Looks like 16.5 and 177.5. Let me see if I can just make sure of the line here. We got just a couple of minutes. We're going to first bounce. That's what we call it. First bounce coming up there in just a moment. Let me see if we still, the line might be off the board here right now with the game already just ready to go. First bounce here, and I'm taking Brisbane and the over. Have fun with that. The match might be over here right when we get off the air. All right. NHL action. We did have some winners here on night moves. Florida and Detroit game total under there was a winner here on night moves yesterday. We also had the Anaheim Ducks and that wild one against Montreal. Man, we knew there'd be a lot of goals, right? Remember I said, is there any sevens out there? Eventually did go to 7 on the total. 7 under, but still went to 7. Didn't matter. It was a high scoring. It was 6-5, I think, in the end, as Anaheim won it in a shootout. It went to the very last moment there. That's how close it was. We also had a winner, Carolina and Edmonton game to go over yesterday. Carolina was a great value, I thought, in that game. Granted, they crushed the Oilers there. It shows you the Oilers against top teams not doing that well there. But we also had the winner with the Minnesota Wild over the Vegas Golden Knights. So, look, I'm glad I had some winners here on the show. I'm glad you guys did too. But I had a bad day with my top picks. A couple weeks ago, I was having a little bit of mediocre run, and I don't know, just kind of not on purpose, but I kind of was switching up. I said, maybe I'm not putting the best picks, the right picks. I try to pick my best picks on the premiums. I kind of said, well, let's kind of move them around a little bit. Let's think that maybe the games had to do with line movement and my own strength ratings, but then we went on a bit of a roll, but man, if today got handed back to us. Okay, who else is here, though? Right now, Will Rondo's here as well, and Jason Tatum looked good. Does it help the Celtics, right? I think it did. I mean, look, it helped them win that game. They actually, got the money there, did Boston, in that game. And remember, that was a tankathon game. That's how we characterized it. We had Boston here on the show, and in and under too, right? Andre, his tennis and soccer was great. Gosh darn it. I'm glad Andre did well. All right, Ron Jeff here, also nice. And he had a little Tyler Hero action. Pelicans almost hit that money line there yesterday. Let's see, Miami, Ohio will be a law. They'll lose, I think, is what Caldo. They'll finally get a loss. Yeah, well, they're not going to go all the way. We know that. And Andre agrees. They didn't really show much class. I could read the players' lips. The one of those star players from Miami, he basically said to the, he was waving bye-bye, and he said, told him to F off. and no one's, hey, we've got cameras everywhere nowadays. Okay, you better just watch it. Cal Dog, he's already going with some of our picks today. Hold on, Cal Dog, we're gonna get there. All right. Hello to Denny Martez in the chat today. Hello, Denny. Cal Dog, let's see here. And we're going to preview. I think we've got all the NBA games covered. In the NHL, we're going to leave 2 games off the card. I think there are 2 games in there between teams that are not going to go to the postseason. I think they are. I think they are out. I want to say hello to Kendrick Moe in the chat. Hello to Kendrick Moe. Nice to see you in there, Kendrick. All right. And hey, I want to say hello to also the AZ1 in there. I think I'm saying it right now. It could be the Aslatic with a 1, but I think it's the AZ1 there. Nice to see you. Capitals or Bruins will lead off the NHL coverage. Shaq is here as well. Did you see Shaq, the real Shaq with the tallest model in the world there? And she's 6'9". I think Shaq was excited to meet her. I think it's when tall people meet. I think it's tall people meet. Well, Shaq's, he married, but he was having some fun meeting a tall model. She was 6'9", so Shaq was able to actually look, kind of look her in the eye a little bit, and gave her a controversial hug. I didn't think it was that controversial. Okay, let's see here. And talking about Mr. Wesker's talking about that Clippers game. The Clipper, it was a meltdown, and the Clippers. That's something they need to work on. I think that it has to do something with a little bit of the focus of the team. Sometimes they definitely lost if that's what Mr. Weskers means there down the stretch. There was something. Hey, Jacob Zakai in here today as well. Who else? Shaq said he had Minnesota, St. John's. A lot of great comments in here. We're really picking up steam with our show here, man. We already got 50 of you here in the middle of the night. I feel lucky. I better start, man. Timmy Tucci, look, all those teams have good. It's Timmy though. It is the pitching that's a problem, right? They don't have the depth now. Granted, the U.S. pitching was just okay as well, and like I said, sometimes the U.S. I'm not saying they go on a, what have you, we have you in here because of what you've done, not what you can do. But how about that young pitcher that got Aaron Judge, the 17 years old, and he got Aaron Judge to ground into a broken bat double play early in the game? That was a moment. That was a good moment. We want to root for the USA, but that was neat there, and that kid's a prospect too. You're going to see him in the major leagues sooner rather than later. And let's see, do we got everybody's comments in here? We really got to start here. Toreros lose, says Timmy. That was it for Coach Lavin. Thank you for your service. I do expect the University of San Diego to improve once the Gonzaga Bulldogs are out. I know that might be easy to say, but I do think USD will. I think they might even go out and get. Lavin was an interesting hire at the time, but I think he was here on a retirement vacation there. Wemby, I mean, he's. I don't know, Mr. Wester's being. You gotta like him. Actually, you gotta like him a lot. There, I don't want to see a guy crying over a regular season game, but I was almost okay. Just look at a few comments here. We really got started. I think you guys got all these great comments, great conversation with you guys. Chris Warren is here today as well. And Mr. Whiskers is thinking maybe it was a little bit of tomfoolery there with the Lakers. All right, I hope we had some winners here and yesterday on Night Moves in college basketball. We did, but not as many as I would have liked. Fairfield and St. Peter's under. That was a winner here yesterday on Night Moves. I talked all about the Summit League. Oh, it's going to be over City in the Summit League. No, it was not. We did have the winner, though. Tennessee Martin and Tennessee State game 2 go under yesterday. A winner here on Night Moves there. And Just man, I couldn't get the breaks to go my way. Is what I want. I don't want to make excuses here really about it, but I was getting a little bit flustered here with some of my. So I need your help today there with the picks. Let's get ready to go here right now, and I think we got enough people in here for sure to get going. I've got enough sheets to go here. Make sure I got all the sheets today for all of our games. Like I said, I wish we could do more college basketball here, but again, we're just winding up most of the conferences, and the titles have been decided in most of them anyway. And like I said, the Tony's got you covered with for example, the Western Athletic Conference here. So we're going to start with the NBA, and let's go to it. Thank you for joining me here on Night Moves. One more note, please remember to use the promo code Tony T. Oh, hell, Mini Jim is here too. He's a booty warrior. I hope he means the booty in the chest, the money. But, also, for real, Kev, he said, what a day for hockey there yesterday. With those games. And hey, I was happy with some of the results there. Okay, let's go to it. I'll try to get some winners home here on the Night Move show. Let's take a look at what we've got here with our coverage. And we're going to start it off with a day game here. It's going to be Orlando taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. NBA action here for a Saturday with the Timberwolves favored here by 7.5, and the total here in this one is 228.5. Well, we're going to get these two teams here with the Timberwolves favored against the Magic. Timberwolves continue to look really strong. We go over the standings kind of every day and try to say where's this team? Are they going up or down? Are they going to make it right now? It does seem like Minnesota's not going to be able to catch those two teams atop the standings. We know that, but it does seem like out of those teams in the next group, talking about Minnesota, Houston, the Nuggets, and even the Lakers, it does feel like the Timberwolves are playing the best and probably could get the number 3 seed should they keep this pressure going right now. They're 40-23. They've won 5 straight here. And the line here, though, I have 7.5 on the screen, but it's 6. It's 6 here, mostly because we've seen a lot of great play from Orlando of late as well. I mean, we've been talking up Orlando here for days right now because of their recent surge. For a while there, it was kind of all about the Hawks and the Hornets, and it looks like Orlando's in, but they're in 8th place and they got to hold off those teams. But Orlando is playing pretty well. They've done a nice job. They've won 2 in a row here right now. They're in 8th place. They're 2 games ahead of Atlanta, 2.5 against the Hornets. That's almost where you cut it off. Remember, I said we're trying to give the Bucks a chance. Well, the Bucks are now 7 games behind the 8th place Magic. So it does feel like we're getting to a situation here where you've got, between the Raptors, the Sixers, the Heat, the Magic, the Hawks, and the Hornets, you really have 6 teams for 4 spots. It feels like 2 teams aren't going to make it. Which ones are it going to be? Is it going to be the Magic? They're in right now. They've won 2 in a row here with wins over Dallas and Washington. Now, they didn't cover against Dallas in that home win the other night, 115-114, but they did get the win. That was crucial. Now, Minnesota is knocking them down here, not covering them all, but they're also pretty. We've talked about it this year, right? Minnesota hasn't been a great cover. They've been overrated by at least bookmakers and bettors, I think, for the most part, because they're 40-23 are the Timberwolves, but yet just 27-36 against the spread. Orlando's also kind of a bad team against the spread too. We think of them, as kind of up-and-coming team. They really are arriving here on the scene, doing a pretty good job to make the playoffs. Would be a good season for the Magic. I guess even if they didn't make it, they did show a lot of improvement here. But they're 33-28 and just 26-35 against the spread. But at least out of these two teams, Orlando is showing a little bit of cover here lately, and the way they're playing, I would think they can give Minnesota a good game here. Minnesota did win here. This is actually the first meeting between the two teams. Minnesota did win here at home last year, and the last time they met, 118-113. Basically about 51 weeks ago. They were favored by 11 in that one. So a little bit different here, it feels like, right now with the Magic. They're playing a little bit, like I said, a little bit better here right now. Hey, they're in the playoffs. Minnesota, they're an outside championship contender. I mean, but the way they're playing right now, they look almost as good as those top teams in the West. And the way you got to consider it after the Thunder and the Spurs, the Wolves are in third, and they're looking a little bit better than the Nugs and the other rest of the teams in the West. Orlando's won 8 of their last 12. They've covered 4 of their last 5 on the road. Minnesota's won 4 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams. Minnesota's gone just 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 games. This despite the fact that they've won those 5 games in a row. 4 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams have gone over. Minnesota's gone under in 4 of their last 5. Orlando's covered the spread in 15 of the last 18 meetings here in Minnesota. Now, before we get all excited, that is nearly a 20-year sample size. They only play here once a year. But it's always been a good trip for Orlando. And remember what I say about some of these, right? When you try to determine whether or not a trend is a trend or just some numbers, right? Look, that one you might say, you know what, 20 years. But like I said, sometimes it's about the travel, the way the cycle of the schedule a lot of times is always the same. You travel from city to city, kind of using the same accommodations and things like that. And also there's the motivations of the certain teams. So look, Orlando's got a little bit of something against Minnesota throughout these years, basically in the last 20 years here. But all right, we can hear from you. This is how the show works. I try to pick a winner, and then I go to the chat, and then I hear from you guys, and you guys try to give me the winner. I think is what I need here. Maybe a good strategy. I guess I'd lose any credibility as a tout here, but maybe I could just take the plays of the chat. I've been working on a thing where I take the transcript of the chat and run it through Chat GPT, and it comes out beautiful. I just don't have anywhere to publish it, but it shows everybody's picks and everything. I was like, this looks like something people would read, and I'm working on that. It looks cool. It gives everybody's pick. It'll even show some of our regular guys in the chat. And the Chat GP will say, "Do you want to see all of Cal Dog's plays?" And I'll say, "Yes, I do." All right, and sounds like, yes, I do. Sounds like my Trump impersonation. Everybody see the president today was with college sports leaders today trying to figure out the NIL and the new era a little bit. Trump just wants to go back to, can't we have it like it was back in the 80s, I think is what he was saying. And no, you know what? Pandora's box is open. We've got to figure out how to work this out with the money and the players. And, I don't know if I have a problem with players staying in college for 8 years. College football is a great sport, man. There's only 32 teams in the NBA. I don't know if I have a problem with it. Here we go. Let's go to the chat here right now. Okay. Cal Dog. Do you want to see Cal Dog's pick? There it is. Magic with the points. And Mr. Wesker says the Wolves can beat anyone in 7 games. I think he says will beat out anyone in 7 games. I don't know if that means he has them to win the title. Maybe he does. I think he's been saying a little bit about that there. But the Knicks look good tonight. All right. Let's see here. Timmy says Magic. Yep. And Shaq's going to play some ugly dogs, he says, tomorrow in college basketball. Andre says T-Wolves win, won't cover. Reed over 11.5 points, Mr. Weskers. Hopefully, Rudy doesn't get ejected. Here's Chris. He likes the under here in this one. Maybe no play, though. Hey, go ahead. You can make suggestions here. Nobody's going to hold it against you. I make a bunch of losing plays here, hopefully mostly winners, but Mr. Weskers might be fading old Orlando. Minnesota playing well and getting those, not quite getting the numbers though, Chris. Like I said, despite that 5-0, 2-5 last 7 ATS here, and they've been a bad cover all season actually. But like I said, Orlando's not a great cover either here. Strangely enough, I will say this though: Minnesota at home, 11-22 to the under at home. So. I think that's probably where this one's headed here in this one. That's going to be my pick on the show. I almost want to think it's a premium here right now, but give me the under. I really like the under in this game between Orlando and Minnesota. Hey, if it's a under, it's going to be mine. Okay. Chris says Ant can be a spectacular. Oh no, Ant is spectacular. He is an elite player. In fact, I think the one thing about Chris and what Chris says about him, he's not slighting him at all. He is saying, giving a great. I think Ant is the league's most overlooked superstar, actually, and apparently he's quite handsome. He has made many of those. Hot guy charts. I don't know. I mean, it's not for me to decide, but apparently the ladies think Ant is he's pretty good looking. All right. Let's see here. Mr. Weskers, I got to start sending Mr. Weskers money for his picks. Let's see here. That might be it for this one. We got to keep it moving too. Magic money line, maybe, says Denny. Hey, they're playing well. It's always a chance for an upset. Usually if I'm on, when I say I'm on a team, I don't mind, going with the little Mr. Weskers, though, not liking the Orlando chemistry. I don't think the coach is gone. I think they've had too good a season, actually. And it's been a good season for Orlando. Okay, next up. We're going to the Tankathon here with the Nets and the Pistons. In this one, we've got Detroit here. Favored by 14, but Detroit has lost 2 in a row right now. Yes, it was, to Cleveland and San Antonio, so no problem there. And they were on the road. They returned home after a 3-game trip. They started with a win at Orlando and then lost at Cleveland and San Antonio, but didn't cover in those. For the Nets here, what can you say? They are some of the Tankathon teams. I'm kind of going against them, and then I'm like, well, you know what? They're actually trying pretty hard. It doesn't seem like Brooklyn is. Brooklyn's failed to cover also in 8 straight games against Detroit. That's before we throw the Tankathon in there. Nets are just 1-9 against the spread in their last 10 games. They lost all the 10 of those games. Detroit, though, just 1-5 right now against the spread in their last 6, despite the fact they've won 11 of their last 15. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Detroit is just 22-27 as a favorite, but the losses are racking up here for Brooklyn. Just 12-20 against the spread on the road, 24-34 against the spread as an underdog. Detroit is 20-28 to the under as a favorite, and Brooklyn is 13-19 to the under on the road. Brooklyn's had a few overs here of late, going over in 4 of their last 6, but these are under teams for the most part, especially Detroit, 25-35 to the under so far this season. When these teams met back in February, you guys will probably note this in the chat, Detroit beat them by 53 points in one of the biggest blowouts of the year, 130-77 Detroit at home, although Detroit also covered in Brooklyn back in November, 125-107. I'm just going to the Tankathon here, of course, and I'm going to take the Detroit Pistons to win and cover this one, cover the 2 touchdowns here today. These are the ones we won't spend as much time on, but, still got to give the Pistons their credit and their lead here, which has shrunk to 4 games over the Celtics. And like I said, the Celtics got, what can you say what they're doing here right now? All right. Andrew says Ant to get 25 or more in that other game. There you go. Also, Cal Dog is on the over here. Yeah, Andre says Piston smash spot. Can the new Nets lose again by more than 15 points? Man, these guys. They did cover a game 3 games ago against Cleveland, but that was just 1 out of 9. I mean, they've failed to cover any of these there. Timmy Two Shoes has a blowout, I think, here, or maybe that was the score of the last one. Mr. West goes over, probably really take the Nets here and says they'll come in, they'll come with it here this lineup. Andre says Cade there after Cade was they were giving Cade the business there a little bit in that Spurs game, but come on, this is your guy if you're the Pistons. He's only still going to get better. Andre's on the under. Anybody taking the Magic money line? I'll sprinkle it, Denny, if you want. And Mr. Wesker says the Pistons don't have a wonky offense. The Nets will be out there with Claxton and Porter, of course. Terrence Mann, I guess, right? Let me look at the injuries, because what about Claxton? And he's off the injury report, right? Orlando and Minnesota didn't have much going on. Cade is on the injury report, actually questionable here. Jalen Duren probable. Asher Thompson is out of this game. Igor Dimin, he is out for Brooklyn. Hello to Chi Live in the chat. And Porter to get those points. Let's keep it moving here right now. In the NBA on Saturday night. We're into the major night card here right now. 7:40 Eastern, 4:40 Pacific, with Philadelphia 76ers and Atlanta Hawks in a game with playoff implications. Certainly here, we've talked about Atlanta and their current position right now, just on the outside looking in. They're playing well. Here they are favored to beat these Sixers here. We'll see how the Sixers can fare here with the Embiid situation here right now. But still, the Sixers are in right now in the playoffs. That's okay. This spread actually is kind of going up here. It's not even close to. This thing is up to 6.5 and 7 here right now. What is going on? Now, I typed these in a while ago, but I'm showing 7 here at pardon me, at some books. Let me take a look at the injury report here. I mean, we know Embiid is out, and it's not a surprise. All right, and it's not a surprise because we know he's out indefinitely here. Oh, VJ Edge come here. He is doubtful here for Philadelphia. Janai Broom, he's out. Oubre, he's probable. Kuminga is questionable here for Atlanta right now. So, man, this spreads up to 7 here. Atlanta's, like I said, Atlanta is playing well. They're on the outside looking in. They're 2 games back of Orlando. Atlanta and Charlotte have been coming up here very, very fast here of late. And, it does feel like if you had to take the Hawks and the Hornets and put them up against the Heat and the Magic, you might take the Hawks and the Hornets, wouldn't you, right now, the way that those 2 teams are playing, and the Heat and the Magic? Now, the Heat have had some good performances here of late. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now. So, Hawks, though, 5 games in a row right now, 5 wins in a row, and good for them. Also, this has been a great series, actually, for the Atlanta Hawks against Philadelphia. Philadelphia has lost 8 straight games to Atlanta right now, and just 1-4 against the spread. Atlanta's covered all 5 of those wins in a row that I mentioned. 9 of the last 11 meetings between these 2 teams have gone over, and it does kind of feel like this one might be an over, actually, even at 233.5. Even I've got to think that This one may have over written on it here. Boy, this spread's gone up. Oh, I thought I was going to get cute here and be like, Atlanta's the team you're going to want to take here, of course. But I think that might be obvious too with some of these injuries here now to Philadelphia here. Atlanta's gone under in 6 of their last 8 games overall. Philadelphia's won 4 of their last 6, but are 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games overall. Atlanta's just 13-17 against the spread at home and 12-16 against the spread as a favorite, but they're hot right now, and I don't know if they could be denied. They've played an easy schedule, no doubt about it. They played Brooklyn, Washington, Portland, and Milwaukee. It's been getting a little bit tougher, but this will be the toughest of them, of those recent games. So we'll go to the chat here and see what you have. The spread's kind of gotten away, but a lot of times on these, people say, I missed the best number. You may not have missed the best number if it's kind of an injury-related thing here. You just got to say it's an adjusted number. Let's go to the chat and see what the chat pros have in this one between Philadelphia and Atlanta. A good game here with playoff implications. Mentioned Atlanta in their position. Philadelphia is only in 6th place. So Atlanta's 2.5 games behind Philadelphia here. It does feel like, Philadelphia is kind of, like I said, in that bottom half of teams. I mean, there's a chance they could fall apart and fall out if Embiid is not able to come back here for several games. Okay, here we go with some plays from the chat. Okay, it's going to be Timmy Two Shoes on the over here. Mr. Wesker said they traded all the offense. Man, there's nothing left here with Philadelphia. I mean, you got Maxey, obviously. Oubre can still make his threes there a little bit. But beyond that, you got guys like Grimes. You got Barlow. Bona's in there as well. It's not a great lineup. Demi lapping at Kuminga. I don't know what he's lapping at. Kuminga looks great. I mean, what a steal for Atlanta there. I hope he is in the lineup. Mr. Wesker's talking about his old buddy McCain. I mean, remember we were talking about him from day one. What happened? Andre's got Maxey here. Hawks win and an under. Mr. Wesker can't take the Sixers here. And let's see here. Could it be a 250-point game? I think it could be. Philly may have trouble on the end here a little bit, but I still think it can go over here right now. Okay. Chris does like the over. Hi to Chris, if I didn't say hello already. Paul George, maybe he'll come back one year. And Mr. Wesker's fading Kuminga. So you guys think that that it was just a fluke there so far since he's appeared in the line? I don't know. I think this is the right move. Okay, I'm going to go with the Hawks here, though. And you know what? I probably would have went premium if it wasn't. Again, I shouldn't say it like that. I just told you. This is more of an adjusted line to me. I'm taking Atlanta to get a double-digit win here. I'm going to take the Hawks over the Sixers.
Final.
Okay, next up, we got to keep our eye on the Clippers here. We're in the tankathon here a little bit. Now, the Grizzlies are actually playing with some moxie here late, and the Sixers are on the back-to-back. So I don't know if I could just jump right into the tankathon here, but this line right now is at you know what? It's down here to 6 points. It feels like I'm even seeing 5.5 here at some books. There's been some movement on these games tonight. Right now at DK, it's 5.5. It is juiced to the Clippers, but it's definitely a move here to the Grizzlies a little bit. Maybe because the Clippers, that was a hard-fought game last night there against the Spurs. Clippers got the money again. The Clippers continue to get the money. They're actually on fire in that sense. Well, they're on fire, period. Right now, the Clippers are sitting in 9th place. They are 2 games behind the Warriors. So Warriors also play tonight, but they're playing the Thunder. So the Clippers could somehow get a win here. They're favored. They've closed to 1 game of the Warriors right now. And the Clippers come in here, like I said, on a pretty good run. Now, Memphis, like I said, they're covering games too. Make no mistake. But for the Clippers here, Clippers have won here. They'd won 3 in a row before losing there last night to San Antonio, but they've covered 5 straight games. They've also covered 6 straight games on the road. They've beat Memphis in 6 of the last 9 meetings between the two teams. Memphis is 4-1 against the spread in there. They've covered the last 4 games of the Memphis Grizzlies here, including losses to Minnesota and Portland here at home. They were just getting 9.5 points at home to Portland. Now they're getting 6 points at home against the Clippers. Now, granted, Memphis lost that game by 8. They did cover the spread, but a little bit questionable here that this spread has kind of moved down, especially with Memphis having a plethora of injuries. Now, the Clippers, Darius Garland, he's probable in this game. John Collins is questionable here. We did learn this week that my man Yannick Conan-Niederhausen is out for a while. Now, Memphis, Taj Gibson out. Aldama out right now. Pippen Jr., probable. Ty Jerome, probable. Taylor Hendricks, probable. Cedric Coward, probable. But they all had injury tags coming in, but they're all going to be good to go here, it feels like. Like I said, Clippers on the back-to-back. The Memphis Grizzlies are rested here. Clippers on fire covering the spread, but Memphis has been covering as well. So Clippers 19-14 against the spread on the road. Memphis just 13-17 against the spread at home and 17-23 against the spread as an underdog. Memphis is 17-12 against to the over at home. Let's go to the chat, though, in this one. I want to hear from you and get your picks in this one between the Clippers and Memphis here. It is a tankathon game, technically, but Memphis is playing with some inspiration here. They're covering some numbers for sure here. Let's see what you got. I've almost been 100%, not 100% winners, but I've been almost about 100% as far as staying within the tankathon there a little bit. Okay, here we go. Chat pros here. Grizzlies money line here for Mr. Weskers. Under for Timmy Two Shoes. All right, Cal Dog says take the Clippers, just buy it down a little bit. Jimmy says the Clippers, that was a gift in that. Is that in that last the game against the Spurs? I thought the Clippers were going to win it there, and then what happened there at the end? Okay. Let's see here. Grizz money line, though, for Mr. Weskers. And let's see here. Andre says Grizzlies plus the points and under. Chris says this game would just be too frustrating to watch, probably. And let's see here. A GG 15 plus for Andre. These two teams met in December. They met twice in December. Memphis won them both and covered. Memphis also won the meeting in November and covered. So Memphis actually has the Clippers number here a little bit of late. Like I said, Clippers had won 6. They had won 6 in a row, basically, and then Memphis have now won 3 in a row in the series overall. So this is the last meeting between the two teams this season. And, yeah, Clippers on the back-to-back. It could be. Memphis is a hard-trying team here right now. I still want to take these Clippers now, especially at a reduced price. But, yeah, Niederhauser's going to be out of the game, though. But, yeah, I do like him. He's a San Diego Clipper as far as I'm concerned. But the Clippers have used him several times here. All right. Oh, man, I guess I'm going to have to make my play here in this one between the Clippers and Memphis here today, and Memphis is playing pretty hard here right now. And I know this is a tankathon game, but I'm going to grab the Grizzlies here and take these points. Continue to try pretty hard here right now, and the Clippers, like I said, with the back-to-back, I think that's the only thing keeping me. I'm going to go with Memphis here. I said 100%. I know there was one other game I took the other night there with one of those teams anyway, taking the points and one of the tankers. Like I said, I guess you're not tanking if you're covering these spreads, right? Next up, messed up here. Here we go. Next up, we've got, oh man, I blew this one. This should not even be covered here. Let's just do it quickly. This one should have been left off. I should have put another college game in. I'm sorry about that. We should have just skipped this game. Jazz and the Bucks. Maybe we'll just call it the last ditch effort for the Bucks here. What was I thinking? This game shouldn't even be in the previews right now, given our parameters. But see what you got here in this one. It feels like it's going to be 250 points. Is what it feels like. Maybe that's the way to go here. Go ahead and make your pick already in the chat if you want. I'm not going to even give this much time. This was a mistake here. I mean, I plan for the show, and sometimes I'm on autopilot. Utah 2-5 straight up and against the spread in their last 7 against Milwaukee. They've lost 7 of 8 coming in. Milwaukee just 1-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 5. 6 of the last 8 meetings between the two teams have gone under, but I have a feeling in this game we're going to be going over the total. Utah coming in off a win over Washington. They won a game, yes, against Washington. Milwaukee 4 straight losses here, albeit to tough teams, New York, Chicago, Boston, and Atlanta here in this one. But I wouldn't trust them to cover 10.5 here right now against anybody at this point. Giannis, great job. No reason why he won't be back, in the lineup here a little bit today. Kevin Porter Jr. is out of this one for Utah. Markkanen out. Collier out here in this game. Keontae George is probable. I'll just take the over in this one. Sorry about that, gang. Cal Dog going under. Timmy Two Shoes on the Jazz. All right, one more game here. This one's worth looking at for sure. This is very important with the Warriors here. Look, they just had a nice win there, right? A game that they were an underdog in, so you got to think here. And look how important this is. I just mentioned, look, the Clippers are favored to win in their game against Memphis, and they are the team that is closest pursuers to the Golden State Warriors. 2 games back here right now. Warriors come here in off of that win there against Houston, remember, on the road. It was a big win, 115-113. LJ Cryer was kind of the star there in that one, the former Houston Cougar. He had his they honored him at the University of Houston game the night before and went out and he starred for the Warriors the next night. Amazing how that happens sometimes. But it was a big win for the Warriors. They've not a great cover, 13-17. ATS on the road, 9-12 against the spread as an underdog. Golden State comes in here having covered just 3 of their last 10 games overall. Golden State's lost 4 of the last 5 to the Thunder. Golden State's covered 4 of their last 6 on the road. Oklahoma City's won 7 of their last 8. However, they are just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. The Warriors on a 4-game winning streak. The Warriors are also on a 4-game losing streak against the spread. They keep winning. They can't cover. So this isn't a tankathon game. The Warriors are playing extremely well. It's just that can they hang here with this Thunder team? Thunder ain't covering anymore. That's for sure. But the Warriors aren't a great cover in general. 12 of the last 14 meetings between these two teams have gone over. I don't see any reason. It'll go over 19.5. 219.5, gang. Let me see if that line has moved. Sorry about that. 220 right now. Let's call it 220 so we don't. There we go. And maybe the line's up to 15 here, actually. So 220, that I know that, look, we think of the Warriors sometimes, they get involved in some of these low scoring games, but they're actually 17-13 to the over on the road. These two teams did meet in January as 131-94. The Thunder smacked them around, and they also won in San Francisco, 124-121 in early December. They got the money, and they also got the money in the first meeting back in November. So Thunder 3-0 straight up and against the spread against the Warriors this season is a team that they have liked to beat. But like I said, pretty tough when you're win 4 straight games and can't cover the spread in those games because you're just favored by too many. Is that what's going to happen here with the Warriors? Let's go to the chat. Okay. And let's see. Denny says, will Chet get a double-double here? Cal Dog likes the over 19. Andre says, Warriors in points. OKC wins at this point in the season. OKC ain't looking to blow anybody out. They just got to get in and get out with the win. Sure does seem like it, right? When they're not covering any of these numbers. And Timmy says, playing Golden State just because of like what you see there. Andre says Shea to get 20 plus there, and also Kason Wallace and Isaiah Joe with some props in there. Timmy Chushu says SG will be on the bench by the time the fourth quarter rolls around. And I want to say hello to Wrong in the chat. He's got the team total over. And you know what? Like I always say, if Wrong isn't wrong, then I don't want to be right. I don't know. Great to see you, Ron. Timmy Chushu says OKC in the first half here. That's Ron G, by the way. I'm Ron G. Ron G, my good buddy, 1268. Ron, is that just something that YouTube puts on the end there, like some of these numbers, or are you born in 12 of 68 like me? Okay, Draymond's Mr. Weskers always has the Draymond ejected prop, and he has basically been able to live off that. I think that's it for this one. And give me the Golden State Warriors. I mean, come on. If the Thunder ain't covering now, this is where I think, I know we have a fun time in the chat with Coach Kerr, and maybe not everybody likes him, of course, but I think this is kind of where he, is at his best a little bit, taking teams here and making them into a little bit better than they actually are. You think of all the title teams, and look, I'm not saying anybody can coach great talent. And it's, sometimes it's a matter of putting all the chemistry together. But I think Kerr, these are kind of the games sometimes where they're actually, at least against the spread and stuff, Kerr has them kind of, younger teams ready to go a little bit. Yeah, I'm a little critical because of that Kuminga situation, but I'm going to give some credit there a little bit to Kerr here covering these numbers. Yep, he said, you're right, Timmy. He said it. Our best days are over. Doesn't mean that I think he meant this dynasty's over, and who knows how long. It does feel like, Kerr is getting to that point where, if once Steph is ready to leave, once Steph ready to step, maybe Kerr will step aside. But who's to say? Maybe they could find some lightning in a bottle too with some young talent. Maybe they let one get away there with my man Kuminga. Okay, that's it for the NBA. Thank you very much, you guys. Those are some great picks here on Night Moves. All right, we're going to go to college basketball now. I hope the coverage is okay here. Look, there's going to be some more games. We're going to cover, semifinals and finals. A lot of the conferences are in the quarterfinals, and we got a big hockey card tonight. Even if we are casting aside 2 of the games, we still got 9 to look at. So I'm going to look at crucial games here in conference play, semifinals tomorrow in respective conferences, okay? And like I said, you want to get some of the best games. Tony T's got them on his video with the non-tournament games. So I think that's a good place to start. So let's go to the semifinals here in college basketball in some of these conferences. And let's start with, we've been keeping you up to date on all of these tournaments here a little bit, and we'll take a look here. Let's go to the Northeast Conference, NEC action here with Stonehill and Mercyhurst. Action here for Saturday. This one's at noon Eastern and 9 Pacific time. A lot of noon starts tomorrow. Stonehill comes in 12-20. Mercyhurst comes in 16-16. Stonehill had a nice win over Lemoyne in their battle. You know, the one thing here about the NEC, they got underway back on Wednesday, and now they're playing here on Saturday. So, and also this is a reseeding here. So, Stonehill, the number 5 seed, taking on the number 3 seed Mercyhurst. So this is the closer of the two. The other game is Wagner, the number 7 seed, who upset Central Connecticut on Wednesday, and LIU, who barely got by Chicago State. But both these teams won. You know, Stonehill, the number 5, they beat the number 4 seed Lemoyne 81-71 in that game. They were 4.5-point dogs in that one. Mercyhurst, meanwhile, did beat Fairleigh Dickinson 70-61. Mercyhurst has covered 4 straight. Stonehill's covered 3 of their last 4. Stonehill's gone over in 4 straight games. Mercyhurst has been kind of an over here too. The last game did go under, but just by 0.5 point. But before that, they were going over in a streak of games here of late, talking about Mercyhurst. Mercyhurst is favored here by 5.5, and the total 131. Stonehill is 14-8 against the spread as an underdog, but Mercyhurst is 10-6 against the spread as a dog. These two teams met already twice this season, and they won on each other's home court. Mercyhurst won at Stonehill just about a week ago, 76-72 as a 1.5-point favorite. Mercyhurst got the win. They were favored. Meanwhile, Stonehill won at Mercyhurst 62-57. They were a 4.5-point dog. That was back in mid-January. They won that game. So did see the road teams win each of the regular season games between these two teams. Let's see what you have here in this one. This is a semifinal game here, and the winner. Here's the thing. So the semifinals are today. The final is actually on Tuesday. So these guys are taking a day off pretty much every round here, but the final will be on ESPN2 on Tuesday. So don't have to worry as long as you win the game there. Let's see what you got though here in this one. And this is our first little matchup here in these early games. And I'll go to the chat. Here we go. Uh, 6 points too much. Stonehill for Timmy Two Shoes. Over for Cal Dog. Stonehill's good enough to win. Stonehill comes in just 4-16 in their last 20 games on the road, dating back to last year. But they're actually 4-14 this year on the road. These are on-site games, by the way. This one's at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Stonehill's just 7-15 against the spread as an underdog, though, this season. Straight up as an underdog. Mercyhurst 11-5 straight up as a favorite. However, both teams, like I said, good in these perspective roles. Now, Stonehill is a pretty serious under team. They are 7-14 to the under as a dog, 5-12 to the under overall, and 10-19 to the under overall. I'm sorry, 5-12 to the under on the road. Mercyhurst, maybe they trend over just a little bit. They've gone over in 5 of their last 6 games. Stonehill's actually gone over in 4 of their last 5 as the season's crawled along here. They have been going over more and more. Let's see if you guys have picks. Any more picks here? Mercyhurst for Andre. And also the under here. Yeah, the under. Yeah, that's probably the direction I might have to go here. Okay. And I think that's going to do it for the chat here in this one. Like I said, I gave you guys a heads up here, at least. All right. Give me the under here in this one with Stonehill and Mercyhurst semifinal Northeast Conference. Okay, next up. Hey, Brisbane's hanging in here, huh, you guys? Winning this one right now over the Western Bulldogs. Look, I think we might get it. They're up by 8. Here's still plenty of time left in the first half. Brisbane looking pretty good here. And we're just a half hour away from the baseball game. We'll see how far we get. Okay, next up. We're going here next now to the Big South with Presbyterian taking on Winthrop. I love me some Winthrop basketball, that's for sure. It's very aesthetically pleasing to watch. This one's at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. Winthrop is going to be favored here. This one is in Johnson City, Tennessee, in the Big South Conference semifinals. Now, the other matchup is NC Asheville and High Point. High Point, 11.5 point favorite there. Let's take a look here at the action from the Big South here on Friday night, because it was exciting, that's for sure, with the 4 games in the quarterfinals. Winthrop 86-81 over Charleston. They did not get the money by about 1.5 points. They were favored by 6.5 in that one. Meanwhile, for Presbyterian, they beat Radford 91-85 in an upset. They're the 6th seed here. They upset number 3 seeded Radford in this one. Now, on the other side of the bracket, High Point did beat Gardner-Webb, but they didn't cover that 27 points as Gardner-Webb covered again there, and it didn't go over. I was talking about the over there yesterday, right? And Asheville, like we said, beat Longwood there in overtime to advance. And Asheville, a pretty big underdog there, 11.5. Is that right? To High Point. We know High Point's been awesome, so I guess it does make sense anyway. All right, so let me hear from you there in this matchup between Presbyterian and Winthrop. This one here at the Big South Conference. And I'll get some of the stats to you here right now with Winthrop 7-15 against the spread as a favorite. This team's always overrated. I love them, but yeah, they are overrated quite a bit. In fact, they did not cover their last night. They didn't cover their season finale against Presbyterian here. These two teams met back on February 28th, and it was 74-70 there in favor of Winthrop. They got the win. They did not cover, although Winthrop did cover the meeting back in January at Presbyterian. They won by 10 as a 5.5 point favorite. But yeah, Winthrop, not a great cover this season as a favorite. For Presbyterian, they're 10-9 against the spread as an underdog, 15-13 against the spread overall here. Winthrop's, a very good team. They're often caught laying too many points, This is a modest number here at 6.5 against a team coming off an upset. Like I said, they are the number 6 seed here in the tournament after knocking off the number 3 seed right now. So let's see if that's a factor for you here in this one as we take a look at this matchup here between Presbyterian and Winthrop. Presbyterian's covered 5 of their last 6 games. Winthrop's just 1-7 against the spread in their last 8, yet they've won 14 of their last 16 games right now. Winthrop's gone over in 5 of their last 7. Presbyterian's gone over in 11 of their last 15 games overall. So they have been trending over more of late. For the most part, Presbyterian here 8-11 to the under as an underdog. Winthrop's not a big-time over here necessarily. Winthrop has won and covered 3 of the last 4 meetings overall, including that spread loss there last time out. So let me hear from you in the chat in this one. Presbyterian taking on Winthrop here. Look, I love, man, always been a Winthrop fan ever since I saw him in
Final.
person several years ago. I was doing some stats at a TV game, and I really was impressed with that. I say a few years ago. It feels like 10 years ago now, but kind of always following this program for sure here. Let's see what you guys have here. Let's go to the chat. Winthrop won in a thriller, says Andre. And Timmy says, gotta take Presby with these points right now. And look, maybe I'm just on tilt because I couldn't win a college basketball premium, but we're seeing some crazy games here right now. Whoops! Oh! Knocked over my pizza. Knocked over my ricotta pizza here. Does that look good? All right. Let's see what you guys have here in this one between Presby and Winthrop. I think that's it. Mr. Wesker's liking the points here as well with these two. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm going to do it too. Give me Presbyterian plus these points. Got to keep rolling here. Like I said, Winthrop just not a great cover for whatever reason, and Presby's been getting the money here right now. So, would I like more points with Presbyterian? Yeah, maybe. But look, they played High Point. We know High Point's the best, right? They played High Point here just a couple of weeks ago at home and lost 79-73 is a 12.5 point dog. So I think Presbyterian's been doing a pretty nice job here. Let's take the points. Yes, Mr. Wesker. Ricotta on the pizza. I love this now. It's like my new favorite thing. But only on an artisan pizza. Don't get it at like. Okay, here we go. Let's go move on here now to go to the Arch Madness here. Man, I apologize yesterday talking about all those unders, and then here come the overs out at Arch Madness. I guess it was due here, but you have Illinois, Chicago. This one at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Semifinal action at Arch Madness here right now with Illinois, Chicago, the Flames taking on the Drake Bulldogs here in this one for Drake. They come in here with a record of 13-19 there following the win there yesterday over Belmont. Can you believe it? Man, Belmont, what a choke job. But credit Drake. They put up 100 points on these guys. Drake has been a terrible spread team this season, 10-20 against the spread. But I will give them a little bit of credit to the fact that they were 1-9 against the spread as a favorite. As an underdog, look, not a great record, 9-11 against the spread, but obviously a more competitive lot when they're getting a lot of points, hard trying, as Mr. Westers likes to say. As far as UIC here, 5-7 against the spread as a favorite. They did get the money in the win over Murray there, 92-79. I liked Murray in the game, but UIC got the win convincingly there, 92-79. So the winner here will take on Northern Iowa and Bradley, who play in the nightcap at 6 Eastern. Northern Iowa's favored in that one by 5, and the total 120 28 there in that one. So let's go to it here in the Missouri Valley and see who's going to go to the finals. The finals are on Sunday on CBS. All right, Drake has come all the way from this 9 seed. Drake and Northern Iowa both had to play in those opening round games. So Northern Iowa's kind of fought through the bracket here. Yes, they were favored against Evansville. Remember, Drake was actually the 9 seed against 8 seeded Southern Illinois. So they've actually pulled off here 2 upsets in a row to get to this point. Now, UIC has gone under in 7 of their last 10 games overall. Drake is 17-13 to the over. These teams met back on February 12th, and UIC won it at Drake 80-70, and UIC won at home back in January 74-67. So they won them both, got it done. Illinois Chicago over Drake, but you just wonder. Yes, Drake did have the big win over Belmont, but hey, right now we're playing for a chance to go to the finals and then a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. Drake is just 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games against UIC. Drake also, those 2 covers, and this is the crazy thing about it. They were 0-9-1 in their previous 10 games against the spread, and they had lost 9 straight games before these last 2 wins here to get – this is conference tournament basketball, isn't it? UIC's won 13 of their last 17. They've gone 5-2 against the spread in their last 10 games overall. Drake's gone under in 4 of their last 5. UIC's gone under in 7 of their last 10. However, 5 of the last 6 meetings between the 2 teams have gone over. Let's see what you got here in this one. This is Missouri Valley action here with Drake and Illinois State, Illinois Chicago. All right. And here we go with Illinois Chicago. Cal Dog is going to remember, they'll put you in the ICU. And both these teams, yeah, they're just which one are you going to go with here? Cal Dogs on the over. Well, I'm pretty impressed with Drake. Look, they're not playing. It's not like they're playing some world beater here. Yes, that was a terrible streak. I'm willing to think that, you think of Drake basketball. Look, not a great season, 13-19 overall. That's not usually what you get out of Drake, but I think against Illinois Chicago, granted, they did win both games and covered this year, but I'm going to take Drake here to keep it going right now. A lot of momentum here. Give me Drake. Over Illinois Chicago, I'll take the points. All right. Oh, is the line changed here? Is the line moved here? Let me take a peek at it. Make sure we got the right line up there. All right. 5.5, 141.5. Oh boy, Ooh, man. This one took a bit of a dive here on the total. Let's update that for sure. Oh man. Well, it is the Missouri Valley after all. But it didn't work out that way yesterday. But if you see a move like that here, it probably go back under. Let's not just jump off the under bandwagon just yet. All right, we've got a few more to go here in college basketball. We're in conference tournament semifinal predictions here. So
final.
If you're wondering why we're covering some of these teams, here we go. Queens College is up against Austin P here. Atlantic Sun action here for Saturday. This one's at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Nearly a pick'em here right now with Queens and Austin P. The other game, the earlier game, Florida Gulf Coast and Central Arkansas. Central Arkansas, a 5.5-point favorite in that one here in the A-Sun. All right, so A-Sun here for Queens, they beat West Georgia 71-63 in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, for Austin P here, they beat Stetson 69-60. So this is the 2-3 game. The other game, Florida Gulf Coast beat Lipscomb there. So it's 1 versus 5. Central Arkansas is the number 1 seed. All right, this one at, like I said, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific time. Queens comes in 18-13. Austin P 21-8. Austin P did lose a couple games in a row before that win over Stetson, and they haven't covered in a while. Austin P has been a failure against the spread here of late, but Queens has been an absolute disaster against the spread for the most part this season. They're 3-7 against the spread as an underdog here. Oh, they're actually a favorite, though. Let me make sure this line is right before I quote the stats here from the movement there. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, Queens is favored. P started the favorite as a 2-point favorite, but Queens has moved to the favorite here, a 1-point favorite here at a few books. You know, it could be a pick 'em. I'm actually showing 1.5 at DraftKings for Austin P. So let me call it a pick 'em here. And the total, yeah, pretty about 162.5 right now. Okay, like I said, Queens 13-16 against the spread overall. Austin P 14-13 against the spread. You know, Queens was pretty hot too down the stretch. They were winning some games. They beat North Alabama. They beat West Georgia. They beat Eastern Kentucky. They lost to number 1 Central Arkansas, and then they beat West Georgia here. But they didn't cover very many of these games. They're just not covering. But neither is Austin P. Covered again, played North Florida, won, did not cover. Beat Jacksonville, did not cover. Lost to number 1 Central Arkansas, lost to Bellarmine, and then didn't cover as an 11-point favorite there against Stetson. But this is basically just a toss-up here, right? And P has been, a little bit of the better team here. They won the regular season meeting back in February. They only met once this year. It was 95-87 in that game. P got the win by 8. They were actually a 2.5-point dog. It went way over in that game, and that's what we're expecting probably here with these two teams. I mean, you've got Queens. They are 19-11 to the over this season. Austin P is just 14-13 to the over, but they've gone over in 8 of their last 10 games. So they've been scoring here of late. Now it's a semifinal. We're going to be playing a little bit more defense here anyway, but let's see what you have in the chat here in this one and see if this one catches your eye with Queens and Austin P here, semifinal. All right, let's go to the chat. All-Star Chat Pros here. Queen's money line for Timmy Chushu. Cal Dog is on the under here. And he says Austin P cost him some money. All right, does feel like P is a better team overall this year, but Queens has been, hot. They just don't cover. So I'm taking Austin P actually to win this game over Queens College. Go P! Next up, let's go to the Summit League here where, this is part of my problem yesterday. I was like, man, the Summit League, all those high scores, I think they're going to go high scores again. And it didn't go. And I don't know if this one is either. Let's see what happens here when Nebraska Omaha takes on North Dakota State in a Summit League semifinal at the Sanford Pyramid. A Sanford Pentagon. I always call it Pyramid. Sanford Pentagon, of course. Here, the North Dakota State is favored in this one by 6.5. Total 140.5. This one seems to be dropping here, and I think it would drop actually. So Omaha, though, does come in off a win over South Dakota as a 2.5-point favorite last night, 76-62. So they got punched their ticket here to the semifinals. Meanwhile, here for North Dakota State, they come in off of a 76-65 win over Oral Roberts. They did not cover in that game, but were able to knock them off here still. So this is number 1 against number 5 as Omaha slightly upset there. South Dakota, but they were still a favorite even though they were the 5 seed. Now, Omaha comes in here just 9-10 against the spread as an underdog, but North Dakota 14-9 against the spread as a favorite here. North Dakota State here. Sorry about that. Never should do that. North Dakota State did win both regular season meetings, although they did not cover at home. 92-84 is a 9.5-point favorite. They didn't cover on the road either, beating Omaha 78-76. Omaha's actually been the better cover when these two teams have met over the last couple of seasons. Now, Omaha is 11-8 to the over as an underdog. Meanwhile, North Dakota State 10-13 to the under as a favorite here. Look, it's 6.5 right now with this spread. I'm probably just going to go with a total here in this one and probably play the under. But let me see if you guys have anything in the chat this one with Nebo and North Dakota State. All right, chat pros here. Mr. Weskers, I think he's going to lay the 6.5. I've got the under here in this one. I think the chat pros are running out of steam here. We're getting a little too low on the totem pole of the conferences here. Let's do one more here. We're going to have the first championship. I think this is it, right? This will be the first bid. Right? There haven't been any yet. Right? Everyone has a conference championship. This is going to be it. The first team, I think, right, to qualify here for the NCAA tournament when Morehead State takes on Tennessee State. College basketball tournament championship here, the Ohio Valley Conference. This one's at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific here on ESPN2. Both teams come in scorching hot. Actually, Morehead comes in off of a win over Southeast Missouri State, 66-61. They were a 3.5-point dog in that game. That was Morehead. Oh, there we go. The thing in this conference, remember, this is a ladder conference. So Morehead and Tennessee State were both given byes all the way to the semifinals. Tennessee State beat Martin 68-55. Morehead won it, as I said, 68-61. Tennessee State got the money as well. Both these teams, not only are they winning, they're pretty much covering every game. Morehead is 17-11 against the spread this season. Tennessee State 16-11 against the spread, but Tennessee State's actually on a bit of a cover streak right now. They've been covering them all here of late. Meanwhile, Morehead, they've also been covering most of them, although they did get a 64-61 win at home against Southern Indiana. They did not cover 7.5 in that one, but other than that, they've been pretty hot covering numbers as well. So, you got two teams playing well, covering spreads, but what's going to happen when they meet here in the Ohio Valley final on Saturday? These two teams met back in February at Morehead, and Morehead won it. 94-86 as a 1.5-point dog. Tennessee State won at home, 105-100. They did not cover in that one as Morehead got the money as a 7.5-point dog in that one. Tennessee State's gone under in 7 of their last 10 games coming into this one. And we'll see what you got here with these two. Tennessee State's gone under in 4 straight games right now, and Morehead's gone under in 3 of their last 4. This is for the championship and the first bid, I believe, here. I should have done my research. I'm sure it is. Cal Dog's on Omaha. Andre's on North Dakota State. Cal, that was the last game, Omaha. Sorry about that. Timmy on Moorhead there. Cal Dawson, North Dakota, only won the games by 2 and 3 points. You talk about the regular season matchups there, right? No. Moorhead won. What are you talking about, the conference tournament? They've only played one, right? Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on there. Tennessee State again, says Cal Dog, though. Or Tennessee State money line. Moorhead is the best, says Timmy. Andre's on Tennessee State. I'm going to take Moorhead here to cover the spread against Tennessee State in the Ohio Valley Final. That's the games I'm looking at here, the 6 games today. Look at a ton of games, and we'll have more, some finals tomorrow. We'll look at more semifinal games, and I think we'll have time for a few more college games tomorrow with this huge card. Like I said, most of the games playing out the string, and if you do want some picks in the major college card, make sure to check out Tony's video today. So I think we got you covered on some good games here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. All right. I'm ready to move on to some hockey, though, tonight. And like I said, I'm looking at the big card here for sure. But we did get rid of 2 games to let you know real quick here. Rangers and Devils, bye-bye. I don't think those guys are going to the playoffs. Also, Canucks and let's see, was it the Canucks and the Jets here, I think, were also the other game that we got rid of here. So let's go to the card here in the NHL. And then we'll be out of here. And look, we get the baseball game here starting in just a couple of minutes. I see them wrapping up the action here at the Live Golf Hong Kong right now. So 3rd round about to be done here as they're playing the final hole, and then they'll get to the baseball action here in just a moment. That game, just like I said, about ready to start. So if you're just joining me here right now, I did say I like Japan to win the game here coming up. It's just starting in about 5 minutes with Japan taking on Korea here. I took Japan minus 5.5. Kikuchi is on the mound for Japan. They beat Korea 13-4 last time they met in a tournament setting. And I also took the over. I think Japan's offense is capable of putting up some big numbers here. And South Korea does have some power bats in Do Young Kim and also Hyun Min An. So watch for those guys. You want to prop there a little bit. I'm giving you some top players here with the action here. All right. Really appreciate it, gang, you joining me here. We're going to get going right now with our next round of plays here with Washington Capitals. Oh, let me get the graphic here. The Washington Capitals are taking on the Boston Bruins. NHL action here for Saturday. This one's early, 12:37 Eastern, 9:37 Pacific, with Washington coming in here on a 2-game losing streak right now. They're a slight dog, it looks like, right now here to the Bees. Boston comes in off of that 6-3 loss there to Nashville. Washington, meanwhile, they've had a couple of days off, but they lost to Montreal. They lost to Utah. Neither team's not. They're both kind of in a little bit of a funk here of late. Washington, let me make sure this line, because they are not a good dog. They're 7-14 as an underdog, and they're an underdog here. In fact, I'm showing the Bruins up here and actually closer to $1.25 or $1.30 right now against the Caps here tonight. And the total is mostly 6s out there. Looks like 6 flat for the most part is the line. Coming into this one, Boston comes in here still 23-8 at home this season, 14-7 as a favorite. I want to say they've been overlooked. I mean, they've definitely played well enough here. They haven't been, world beaters, but They're fighting for their lives here. It feels like they're a playoff team, but it's just that the Atlantic Division between Buffalo, who's now tied for first, I think they're actually technically in first place. Buffalo, Tampa, Detroit, even Montreal, and Boston's having to fight hard here right now. But look, all the other teams kind of on a losing streak here, so chance for Boston here to get one going. For Washington, meanwhile, they're also in the same position. Both these guys are really battling. They're just there on the playoff bubble. They're going to make it. Are they going to not? We'll see what happens with these two teams. Now, these two teams played here last time out. It was Washington getting the win, but let's see what you have here with these two, and I'll give some numbers here, actually. For Washington, they've dropped 4 of their last 5 on the road. They have won 6 of their last 9 overall. Washington just 3-6 in their last 9 against the Boston Bruins. Boston's won how many in a row at home? Is it 11 now? I mean, they can't lose at home here at this point, the way they're going. Is this the day their streak at home ends here? Because they have been lighting them up. 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Washington's gone under of 6 of 7. Boston's kind of an over team this season at 34-27 to the over, but as a home favorite, they're not. They play enough defense. They don't really go over that frequently. It's like 50-50 at home, really. But Washington 12-9 to the over as an underdog here. Let's see what you got. Is Boston going to continue this home streak right now? They need to keep winning at this point to just make the playoffs here right now. It's going to be a tough game, I think, for them here, but let's see what you have. Like I said, we're seeing some unders here of late in this series. Washington going under. Boston's gone over, though, in 9 of their last 13. This feels like a tough one, actually, but hard to ignore this winning streak by Boston at home. All right, let's see what we got. Cal Dogs on the Bruins. Timmy might be on the over here. And Timmy says, because I have it, there's 5.5 juice to the over out there for sure. And let's see here. Andre's on the Bruins in this one. All right. This Bruins streak is so hot right now. I mean, my algorithm is saying that this is the quote-unquote spot for Washington, but I just can't go against these Bruins in this home winning streak right now. I'm going to take the Bruins. I pay good money for this computer program, but I'm going to go with the Bruins. I'm going with my spidey senses here. I'm going to go with the Bruins. All right, next up. We did skip the Rangers and the Devils. My apologies to any Devils fans. I know the Rangers are toast. Anybody think either of those teams will make the playoffs? Let me know. I'll include them in the preview next time and won't screw up. But we've got here next up the Flyers taking on the Penguins in a rivalry here. Pittsburgh 28-20. 31, 17, and 13. Philadelphia 28, 22, and 11. So, look, Pittsburgh's been the better team, but Philadelphia's been a little bit hotter here out of the break. Philadelphia's won 3 of their last 4. They did lose to Utah at home the other night, 3-0. They've been playing solid defensively here of late for Pittsburgh. Back-to-back losses against Boston and Buffalo. They've been playing a tough schedule here. They beat Vegas, but then lost to the Bruins, lost to the Sabres, could only manage 2 goals in those 2 games, 1 goal in each of those games. Pittsburgh's been on kind of a massive underrun here of late. Pittsburgh is 15-9 at home. Philadelphia just 15-27 as an underdog. Pretty dreadful. You want to have a few more wins there anyway. But for Pittsburgh, yes, they've been going under quite a bit, but that's only after they were going over for most of the season, it felt like. Philadelphia is 25-17 to the over as an underdog and 18-12 to the over on the road. But let's see how you have it here. Like I said, Pittsburgh's definitely been going over more of late. I know the Sharps are going to be on the under here, but I don't know if I trust them. with this spot, especially if it's 5.5 over 30. And it's not. It's actually 5.5 over at minus 15 or so. I'll put it at over 20, but it feels like mostly 5.5 over 15. We are expecting a very low scoring game here. Let's see what you got in this matchup. All right. For the Flyers here, they come in having lost 14 of their last 20 overall. They've also lost 13 of the last 19 games against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Penguins have gone under in 5 straight and under in 4 of their last 5 at home. 5 straight meetings between these two teams have gone over, but Philadelphia's gone under in 8 straight games. However, they've gone over in 9 of their last 13 on the road. Oh, man, we're going to have to run this one through the chat bot here to see what you like. Pittsburgh did win back in January 6-3 at home. They also won at Philly 5-1 back in December. So Pittsburgh maybe got the number here. And like I said, Philadelphia is a pretty bad underdog here. So I think I'm going to roll with the Penguins in this one over those Flyers. Yeah, they're favored here, but I'm going to go ahead and take them. Give me Pittsburgh at $1.35 or $1.40 here. I'll take a favorite in this one. Give me the Penguins. Let's see what you got in the chat. It's going to be the Penguins here. Hey, I'm so happy to have 70 of you riding with me. I think this is nearly a record here. I hope you weren't expecting more college basketball tonight. Andre's on Pittsburgh, and hello to Up One Money here today. He had that Heat money line last night. All right, let's keep it going here on this hockey card, huh? And we got to take a look at the Predators and the Sabres. Come on, Sabres. Oh, my goodness. This team is impossible right now. In fact, this line, $1.70, is a little low. It's gone up to like $1.85. Can you believe these? I know we say it every time, but it seems like just every time we want to say, like, oh, they can't win this one, can they? They do. So how will they do against the Predators? You know I love betting these Predators, but the Predators, yeah, they did. Hey, they won last time. We took them right in that game there the other night. They snapped a 3-game losing streak with a win over Boston, 6-3. Buffalo, meanwhile, wins over everybody. Wins over everybody for Buffalo here on a 5-game winning streak right now. Nashville just 1-6 in their last 7 on the road. Nashville actually won 4 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams. 6 of the last 8 meetings between the two teams have gone over, but Buffalo's gone under in 4 of their last 5, and Nashville's gone under in 5 of their last 6. Coming into this one, Buffalo 18-8 at home, 17-10 as a favorite. This one's almost in puck line. This one is in puck line territory. So you do have Nashville here, 27-17 as a puck line dog. I'd say that's pretty acceptable for sure. Buffalo 13-14 as a puck line favorite. Wow, Buffalo is a puck line, but that is impressive here. You know how it works. Like I said, when you're looking at puck lines, you puck line dogs, you want to be, hitting 67%. Because remember, a lot of these times on the closely rated games, yeah, it'd be nice to break it all down. A lot of you guys do a great job in doing that. You get the plus money when you lay it, and you get you have to lay the big price when you're taking it. So 27-7, you want it to be about 67% winners as a puck line dog, and at least 33% winners as a puck line favorite. Buffalo is nearly 50%. So even as a puck line favorite, they have been so solid here, getting comfortable wins when they've had to, or when they've been asked. More likely, getting a decent price as well. Buffalo's won 10 of their last 14 at home here. Nashville's lost 6 of 7 on the road, despite this, run here right now, for Nashville. The way things are going right now, it looks like they're going to be on the outside looking in. They are in 5th place in the Central. They got to get winning here. They got to get moving. Buffalo, meanwhile, like I said, I believe they now have moved ahead of Tampa Bay technically in the tiebreaker. They both are on 80 points here, and one of them will probably win the division there, but no doubt, been a great time with Buffalo. Can you do it tonight? You going to take them on the puck line? Buffalo is 15-12 to the over as a favorite. Nashville 16-12 to the under on the road. These two teams met back in January. Buffalo won 5-3. There, they were a dog in that game on the road. Here, that was the only meeting between the two teams so far this season. I want to hear from you in the chat. And this one, we get ready to go here. There's you see Kikuchi on the mound for Japan as we get ready to go here. And how we doing over there with our Brisbane pick? Man, they're beating Western Bulldogs here. They just started the second half. It's only 43-40. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the chat. Okay, here we go with Buffalo's on fire. Says right there. Hey, man, wouldn't it be something? Sabres until the horns fall off. Timmy talking about Nashville here. Look, I mean, like I said, I have a Nashville betting problem. I think we're ahead on betting Nashville this year, but I don't know if I want to do it here. Sabres in regulation. That's one way to get the price down. Want to say hello to BB in the chat there. Nice to see you, BB. Ben Rocka. I don't know what he's saying, but it's good to have him. All right, Timmy Chusha says Kikuchi's pitching. I'm on the over. As we get set to go, like I said, I'm laying 5.5 with Japan, and I'm going over in that one, over 10.5 runs. All right, in this one, let me see here. Oh, yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and take this buck line right now. I'm going to go with Buffalo. Hey, if I'm not betting on Nashville, I'm betting against Nashville, okay? Give me the puck line here. I'll take the Sabres to roll the Predators. Every time you look up, there's high-fiving down the bench after a goal, it seems like. All right, here we go. Next up. Well, the Canadians are taking on the Kings, and what a game last night for the Canadians. I mean, they lost, but I mean, a great game with Anaheim. It went to a shootout. Final score 6-5 there in that one. The Canadians lost, so they are on the back-to-back here. Yeah, they're just going here to, they're both games here in SoCal, just not very far apart, but did play a shootout game there, so. For the Kings, they are coming in actually off of a win over the Islanders, 5-3 last time out. And, got the Kings here, slight favorite against the Canadians, maybe on that back-to-back. Also, the Canadians lost to San Jose to start this trip. In their two games, the Canadians, impressive, 10 goals. They've also given up 13 goals to San Jose and Anaheim. So pretty wild, especially you look at this total here. Just goes to show you the way that Anaheim plays. The total here in this game is 5.5. Last night it was 7 under by the time the game went off, I think. 6.5 over. Korea dumping base hits in here big time. Runners at first and third. Oh, Kikuchi. All right, let me know what you have here, though. Montreal, and these are my two of my favorite teams for sure. Remember when they met in the Stanley Cup Finals, that controversial Stanley Cup Finals with the curved stick? Who's got a curved stick out there? Montreal comes in here in fourth place. They're battling to hang on to the playoffs here right now. As far as the Kings are concerned, they're on the outside looking in. They need to get going here. Seattle's ahead of them. Edmonton's ahead of them. Edmonton's fading. I mean, just one of these teams, all you got to do is get hot. Even San Jose still got a chance. These two teams did meet in their first game already this season. The Kings won it over Montreal 5-1. Actually, the Kings have dominated Montreal in the series here of late. For the Kings, they've actually won here 9 straight meetings between the two teams. Montreal just 2-4 in their last 6. Kings have won 5 of the last 6 against Montreal, so it just shows you that they're winning in Montreal as well as Korea takes a 1-0 lead with nobody out. 9 of the last 13 meetings between these two teams have gone under, but Montreal, we know, have been a big time over this season. They're 38-23 to the over, including 22-11 to the over as a dog, and the Kings have been going over here pretty much of late. They went over in the game against the Islanders there, 5-3. It was a push against Colorado. So let's see what you have, though, here with this one. Montreal taking on the Kings here on Saturday night at the Crypto. All right. I like the series history here. It's been a rough time for the Kings. Maybe this is the spot for the Canadians off of a couple losses, but I'm going to take my Kings here to win this one. They're a favorite over Montreal. I'll take them here. Give me the, Western Bulldogs just took the lead. All right, here we go. Right now, you guys got some comments on this one. Andre's on the Kings. Cal Dog is on the over. Richie says, Kings more than 9.5 shots in the first period for a prop. And Timmy Two Shoes says, Kemper is not a good goalie. Also, Richie Rich says, Dobush is a good goalie. Better than Montreal, better than Montembeault. And Timmy Chusha says, I wish I would have known that Kikuchi was in here. And maybe a Kings play there. Let's keep it going here right now. I'm going to wrap this up here and get to watching the game here right now. Next up is
Final.
The Mammoth on the road here, taking on the Blue Jackets. Man, the Blue Jackets have been, both these teams are actually playing pretty well, right? You got the Mammoth here, 33, 25, and 4 here currently. You know, the Mammoth, they are sitting here within the playoff picture. I think they're looking pretty good. There seems to be some separation there a little bit. Mammoth have won 2 straight games here right now over Philadelphia and over Washington. This is the 3rd game of the road trip here. Columbus has won 3 straight. Wins over the Rangers, Nashville, and Florida. Not a tough schedule, but they won the games. Columbus is 18-5 here. Let me see who is favorite here, actually. Yeah, Columbus, I'm going to call it a pick'em. There's a few books that have Columbus as a slight dog, a few books that have Mammoth as a little bit of a favorite. I'm sorry. A few books have Blue Jackets as a slight favorite. More books have the Mammoth as a slight favorite, and there's some pick'ems out there. So maybe the Mammoth are just the slightest of favorites, but I'm going to call it a pick'em here right now. Total is 6.5 under or 6 over. I think 6.5 under 25 looks like the consensus line here, maybe even 6.5 under 30 with these two. So we'll just call it for like it is. Columbus is 17-8 at home this season. Utah 15-15 on the road. These two teams met in their first meeting. It was at Utah, 3-2. Columbus got the win there in that game. Columbus, so man, they have been playing strong. Utah has done a nice job too, but Columbus has been Buffalo Junior here, it feels like, in some of these streaks they've been on. They've won 10 of their last 12 and 6 of their last 7 at home. Utah's won 5 of 7 as well, and Utah's won 5 of the last 7 meetings between the two interconference foes. Columbus has gone under in 5 of the last 6 games against the Utah Mammoth franchise. Columbus has gone under in 5 of their last 7. Utah's gone under in 10 of their last 15 actually on the road, and 4 of their last 6 overall here. So this number kind of looks a little bit high for what we've seen from these two teams lately. It does feel mostly like an under with these two, and probably that's the way I'm going to go. Let's see what you got in the chat. Give me the under here in this one. By the way, the game that I skipped, I think I quoted it wrong. No, we did skip. We skipped the Canucks and the Jets, and that was by design. Do you think the Winnipeg Jets can go to the playoffs, you guys? I know Vancouver's done, but okay, let's go to the chat here in this one. And it's going to be, I think, over for Andre, but under for Cal Dog. Andre might go with the Blue Jackets here. Yeah, Kikuchi, typical Kikuchi, right? Gets into a jam, gives up some runs, gets out of it, usually settles down, but first inning, not always great for Kikuchi. And I want to say hello and welcome to Ethan Guarnacchia. I'm going to try it again, Ethan. I want to say your name right. You let me know how I'm doing. But I want to say hello and welcome to Ethan Guarnacchia. I'm going to say it's Guarnacchia in there with the double C's. It could be Guarnacchia, but I'm going to say it's Guarnacchia. And Ethan Guarnacchia, thank you for being here. He says Boston or Washington. I took Boston. Thank you for being here, Ethan. Great crowd here tonight, man. 65. Hey, we get more people here. I'll tell Tony we'll make the show longer. Okay, let's keep it moving, though. Here, I want to watch this baseball game. Lightning and Leafs here in this one with my man, Jonas Johansson, in goal here for Tampa Bay. Tampa comes in here in their worst slump of the season. It feels like 38, 18, and 4. They struggled a little bit early on, but fortunately for them, they're playing the Maple Leafs. And the Maple Leafs have not been good. This one's to the gap, and it gets by the diving fielder. This is going to clear the bases, and Correa is going to lead here early here. 2 runs are in on a double, and it's 3-0. Correa. The fans are going crazy. You see them there. Was a diving attempt. And who was it again? It was Moon, the man who hit that big homer last night. Moon here has been hot at the World Baseball Classic. Diving attempt out there by Suzuki, I believe it was. And Korea here. Kikuchi couldn't get out of it. Moon with the double. Byung Moon, I think. I can't remember his first name or his last name. All right. What do you got here, though? 2 struggling teams here. I say struggling. I mean, we know Tampa's not struggling, but they've lost 4 in a row here. It doesn't feel awful. They did lose to Carolina, Buffalo, Minnesota, and Winnipeg. Don't want to lose to Winnipeg, but it was on the road. There's their 3rd straight road game here right now. So they're definitely playing one of their biggest slumps here. Toronto, though, meanwhile, they're I don't know if there's a tankathon going on in hockey, but Toronto is it. Toronto is struggling right now with 6 straight losses. They've lost 7 straight games at home here right now. Toronto has won 4 of the last 5, though, against Tampa Bay. For Tampa Bay, they've actually lost 5 of their last 7 on the road, 4 of their last 5 overall. Tampa just 1-5, like we said. Well, 1-4 here. In Toronto, and also 1-5 against the Leafs overall. Tampa's lost 4 of their last 5. So they are kind of struggling here a little bit. Can Toronto find something here? Look, Toronto, they're pretty much being dropped from the previews here if they don't get it going. Next to last in the Atlantic. Fortunately, they're playing Tampa Bay here. Can Tampa Bay get off the snide in this one? They're not playing great. Toronto, they may be a little bit of a give up here right now with this losing streak, but the Lightning not playing that well. So let's see what you have, though, in this one. Between the Lightning and the Maple Leafs. Kikuchi got out of it. Okay, here we go. I think the Lightning going to roll these guys actually here and get back going, but let's see what the chat says. Here is Andrew with the Leafs. Cal Dog, though, on Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay team total over there for Timmy. Ethan says, what about Pittsburgh at home? Yep. Hey, you could just, Ethan, I want you here, but, you can rewind it here, right, on YouTube. Timmy here going Gangnam Style with the Korea, huh? I'm going to take Tampa Bay here on the puck line. I'm going to take Tampa Bay to win this one comfortably. All right, take Tampa here on the run line. I think it's actually a little bit of plus money there, plus 105, 110 here with this one. So, hey, I'm all about it. Give me Tampa Bay minus 1.5. Maybe you could take a -1 to be sure. They're minus $1.80. Like I said, I'm 85 on the run line, on the money line, and plus $1.30 or so here on the puck line. So, okay. Ethan liked Tampa Bay in regulation. Andre liked the Lightning team total over. And Timmy Choo says, Kikuchi will be all right. Saw his wife there breathing a sigh of relief. Let's go to this one here. Hurricanes on the road taking on Calgary. Hurricanes only $1.70 here, maybe even higher though. Let's call it $1.80 at least. Might even be $1.85. Total here 5.5 over 35. It feels like right now, pretty heavily juiced. I don't know if we're seeing many six unders though yet. Let me take a peek at it here. Yeah, 5.5 overs. There is some 6 under 15s. I think that might be a little more accurate. Let's call it 6 under 15 right now with the Hurricanes and the Flames here on Saturday night. Carolina comes in 40, 16, and 6. Calgary, meanwhile, 24, 30, and 7. And Calgary's back on another losing streak here right now, having lost 4 straight. Hurricanes are clicking right now. They are also 17 and 8 on the road. Calgary just 16 and 31 on the as an underdog. Looking at the puck line here, you do have Calgary 24 and 23 as a puck line underdog. That is absolutely dreadful. Meanwhile, Carolina 22 and 35 as a puck line favorite. I think that'll work. That'll work for the most part here. And I don't know, might even put me on another road puck line team, as tough as that might seem. But Carolina here, a pretty good run, wins over Edmonton and Vancouver. They did lose to Seattle on the road. This is their 4th straight road trip. They're playing pretty much just all the Northwest teams here right now. They started in Seattle and lost, but then had back-to-back wins over Vancouver and Edmonton here. So they're looking pretty good. Meanwhile, for Calgary, the 4 straight losses were to LA, Anaheim, Dallas, and Ottawa. And they did not look very good in most of those games. They played okay against Anaheim. But let's see what you have here in this one. Brandon Bussey here in goal. He's been just terrific. I don't know if we have any confirmations. I didn't even look here. I was just kind of going off the consensus goalie report here. But let's see who is confirmed here maybe for Saturday as the man is up right now for Japan. See if we can get him on the board here. Okay, let's take a look Saturday here. If we have any confirmed goalies at all. I don't think there are any. So, yeah, nothing yet. So we'll see. But look, we got Bussey in here. We'll see here. I mean, he's been just awesome so far. 25, 3, and 1 here. Now, could be Wolf, could be Devin Cooley in here. You know, Cooley's got good numbers. I don't know which guy's going to be in. Ohtani draws a walk there. These two teams met in November for their other meeting. It was 1-0 in favor of Carolina. These guys have gone under in their last 2 games against one another here. For the Carolina Hurricanes coming into this one. Carolina comes in here having won 7 of their last 8 games, 5 of their last 7 on the road. They're also 5-1 in their last 6 games against the Calgary Flames. Calgary just 2-7 in their last 9 games at home, 1-4 overall. 12 of the last 16 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Calgary's gone under in 4 of their last 5. And if you look at right now, Calgary 21 and 28 to the under as an underdog. Carolina 12 and 17 to the under on the road here. I think Carolina could end up smashing them here. Let me go ahead and take Carolina on the puck line over Calgary to keep the roll going here a little bit. Carolina, a little bit unheralded here as far as the top teams in the league, but no doubt with their record right now and where they stand here currently, you got to consider them as one of the top favorites to win the Stanley Cup here. Funny how they might be the best team in the league. If you bet on them every game this season, you'd be at 0. I know it could be a little bit one way or the other, but pretty much a break-even proposition this season, the Carolina Hurricanes. Let's go to the chat and see what you guys have in this one. We're almost over here, you guys. Canes in regulation for Andre. Canes to blast. Calgary, says Timmy Two Shoes. Jarvis with an ATG. Canes on the puck line. Ethan likes the Flames here. Money line. Cal Dogs on the over. Thank you, Ethan, for being a great member of the chat pros tonight. Timmy's got Jarvis and Pasta for an ATG. And Timmy also says the Flames have already waved the right flag. Let's keep it going here. Just a couple more here on Night Moves, and the show will be over. Thank you for spending here 2 hours with me tonight, 2+ hours here. Got almost 75 of you joining me here on Night Moves. Wow. Okay, Islanders taking on the Sharks. Oh, man, how about this? The Islanders been playing well. Now they have lost 2 straight here. They're on a little bit of a road trip, and maybe this has been a little bit of a negative. They lost to Anaheim. They lost to L.A., and now you got to go play the Sharks. Sharks just got upset last night, though, by St. Louis. A little bit of a stunner. I mean, the Sharks have been playing well. I thought that was one of the best bets on the board last night, but I don't know what a good bet was on the board last night. So anyways, here the Islanders are a favorite against these Sharks. I know the Sharks just lost, and yeah, if Sorokin's in there, that would be great for them, and Askarov here for the Sharks. But look, got Islanders here are 18-17 on the road, but the Sharks are 17-10 at home. These two teams played in their first meeting. It was at the Isles, and the Isles won it 4-3. The Isles have won actually 4 straight meetings between these two teams. Overall, New York comes in here having won 6 of the last 7 against San Jose. They've also won 5 of their last 7 overall. This one's deep, and it is gone. Suzuki home run. Seiya Suzuki 2-run shot. It's 3-2. We're going over here in this one, and the fans are loving it here at the Tokyo Dome. All right. Let's see here. Islanders won 6 of the last 7 meetings between the two teams overall. San Jose's gone under in 10 of their last 15, but they've gone over in 11 of their last 16 at home. Islanders have gone over in 4 of their last 5, but under in 6 of their last 9 on the road. What's going to happen here when the Islanders take on the Sharks? Man, lost with the Sharks last night. I mean, look, the Sharks are still the best money-making team in all of hockey, but the Islanders aren't too bad either. Islanders are up almost 10.5 units this season. Sharks have won 15 units this season, up plus 10 units at home this season. But let's see what you have here, Islanders and the Sharks. All right, here we go. Sharks money line here for Andre. Barzal for Timmy Two Shoe. Sharks to bounce back. They're on the back-to-back, but, you know, like I said, they've been so solid, been such a moneymaker at home. Okay. And that might be it from the chat. All right. I went with the Sharks yesterday. I'm a little bit steamed, and now I've dropped my pen. We go to the backup pen. So bend over on the screen here. Knock over the pizza again. Give me the Sharks here in this one as a dog. I think that's what has me most interested. Islanders, you know, when Sorokin's in there, give them a chance every single time. I think the Islanders can be a menace in the postseason with Sorokin, but all right. Let's go to the finale here. Thank you for joining me on Night Moves. We've got the Senators and the Kraken here, and another road favorite here against a Kraken team that, hey, they won 2 of their last 3. Okay, they did lose there to the Blues, but all of a sudden the Blues are hot. Are they? Yeah, maybe. But nonetheless, Seattle here had wins over Vancouver and Carolina. Ottawa, meanwhile, comes in off of a win against Calgary. This is their 4th game of the road trip, however, here. And, hey, they're favored. And, look, Ottawa, now maybe this is one of those that the line is supposed to tell the story. But Ottawa here, they're right now. I mean, I don't know if Ottawa's going to make the playoffs. I'd say at this point, I'd probably say they're not going to make the playoffs. Meanwhile, Seattle is looking like they're going to be, it's going to be close. I think they can do it. Ottawa, meanwhile, has got their work cut out for them here. So, yeah, Grubauer can have some issues here, but come on, I got to think the Kraken here at home. I mean, look, the Kraken at home this season, they're up a couple of units. They got a record of 16, 10, and 5 at home. Yeah, they've had some issues against Ottawa. Ottawa already won the first meeting, and they've won 3 of the last 4 meetings between the two teams. Ottawa comes in here having won 7 of their last 10, 4 of their last 6 on the road, and they've beaten Seattle in 5 of the last 6 meetings, actually. But Seattle's won 5 of their last 6 at home, so I'm going to take Seattle here at plus money here against Ottawa. Like I said, Seattle, I think they're going to make the playoffs. Ottawa, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. That doesn't mean that the East might be a little bit better. Maybe they should be favored on the road for a reason, but I'm going to take the Kraken here. Ottawa has played well over these last 3 games, even the loss to Edmonton, which was an overtime loss. They played well. They played well on this road trip. Maybe there's something to it, but I'm going to take the Kraken here tonight at plus money. All right, that's going to do it for Night Moves. Thank you, everybody. Wow, we had a great crowd in here. One of the best I've had on this particular show. I don't know how many Tony's Picks shows I've been on over the years, but you think of all the years I've been here. Wow, 5+ years off and on with Tony, and really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you guys on Night Moves every night. I can remember the day the Ukraine war started, and I was like having a bad day. And here we are now on the verge of World War III. So let's get these winners in and have a great day. Cal Dog liking the over there in that final game. Over there for Timmy, Kraken at home for Cal Dog. Thank you, everybody. Had a great show here. Andre said go over in that Kraken game. And, hey, enjoy the action here. By the way, Brisbane has taken a 20-point lead. So hopefully you rode with me here. I don't know. They might blow it again. They just blew a lead. But Brisbane is covering the spread here now all of a sudden. Let me get my good pen. And I think it is going to go over here as well. So I think we can get the Australian combo home. Be back tomorrow, more Night Moves, preview the action for Sunday. Don't forget, head on over to Tony'sPicks.com. Hey, if I've done a good job for you here tonight or over the week here, why not grab a 3-day all sports pass with me over at Tony'sPicks.com. It's $99, and I'm going to give you hopefully a better day than Friday. I got to get back on it here on Saturday. So I'm going to be up here all night, making sure I get all my best plays in. And we'll be back tomorrow with more Night Moves. Don't forget, use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 15% off all those premium pick packages, including mine here on Saturday. And have a great sports betting day. And for the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, I'm Ramon Scott. So long from Night Moves from Las Vegas.